Today we're removing the front door panel and Bose enclosure from a Cadillac Eldorado. We're going to start by pulling the handle across the door up. This will expose two screws, one on the left and one on the right. Remove these screws and this will free up that part of the door panel. With our flathead screwdriver, at the door open handle is a small panel we're going to pry from the door. This will expose a hidden screw here that we're going to remove with our screwdriver. With this panel loose, we're going to pull the front edge away from the door and then pull it forward. This will release the back of the panel. We can pull out on the door handle and turn this panel around and up and over the handle to set it to the side. This will expose another hidden screw. For the next panel, we're going to grasp the front edge and pull it forward to release as well. The door lock will have to be aligned when putting the panel back on. There's a pin that fits in the back of the switch. With this panel pulled forward, it'll give us access to the back of the connector. There are two little tabs on each side of this connector that you slightly pry out, and it will allow you to pull this connector up off of the panel and set the panel to the side. These connectors have to be fed back through the door when replacing the door panel. Pry the bottom edge of the forward control panel from the door. This will release with pry pressure. You can grasp the back edge of this panel, pull it slightly back to release the front edge. Pull this panel up out of the opening at the back of this connector as well. This panel is a small blue screw. We're going to unscrew this blue tab here. It will release and unscrew so that we can remove the connector from this panel. With a plastic pry bar, pry the connector from this panel. It will release and you can set the panel to the side. For the remaining panel, we're going to pry the front edge of the control panel up to release clips with pry pressure. Then we're going to grasp the front leading edge of this panel and pull it back to release the rear tab from the underneath the door panel. This will again allow us with our plastic pry bar to pry this connector from this control panel and set the control panel to the side. Next, we're going to use a Torx T15. At the back edge of the door panel are two Torx screws, one lower and one upper. We're going to remove these two screws and start with our pry bar along the bottom edge of the door panel and pry along the bottom edge of the door panel up the front edge and up the rear edge. As you pry across this panel, these clips will release with pry pressure. This will allow you to pull the bottom edge of the door panel away from the door and lift this panel slightly back from the door once these clips are all released. We're going to feed our wires, connectors through the panel, and we're going to locate the two courtesy lights, one below the armrest. The connector here has a trigger you lift to release, and one towards the back of the panel as well before removing. Again, this connector has a trigger you lift to release the connector. This will allow you access to the final connector at the Bose enclosure. This connector has a trigger that you lift to release, and this will release all the connectors from the door panel. You can set the door panel to the side and check the door for any clips that may have come loose from the door panel. Pry these clips from the door panel. There are two types here. This type has an oval bottom that will fit into the oval opening, and you twist the lock back in place. The clips towards the front of the door panel have a different securing method. You place the tab in and screw it in to tighten it in. With our 8mm socket, we're going to go along the metal bracket along the edge of the Bose enclosure and remove all these screws. These screws sort of pinch fit the Bose enclosure to the door panel. With these screws removed, you can remove the metal plate and push the Bose enclosure tabs through the door panel and remove. Hope this video has been helpful. Please subscribe. We do repair these amplifiers, and thank you for watching.